In today's episode, I'm covering the key performance stats behind a healthy membership. What's normal, what's not normal, and how to actually know when it's time to adjust your strategy. Welcome to the $1 Million Memberships Podcast, where we help female entrepreneurs like yourself start, grow, and scale multiple 6- and 7-figure online memberships with simple, step-by-step strategies that actually work.
Your life is about to get so good.
Let's dive in. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of $1 Million Memberships Podcast. As always, I am so appreciative that you are here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited for this episode. We are getting into some stats that I feel like are never talked about when it comes to memberships, and even like in the online space in general, I don't really see it talked about a lot. But this is something that I think is really important to know, because if you are like me, if you don't have every single person on a call or every single person engaged in the group, or you send an email and not all of them are opened, you're just like, what am I doing wrong? Why are people hating me? Do I need to throw this in the garbage? I know personally, like for me, definitely before I actually understood membership statistics and KPIs with memberships and like what actually is good performing versus not good performing, what's working versus when do you know if things are actually not working. And again, if you're like me and you have a major ADHD brain, if you feel like something is not working, it is so tempting to just sit down for a day, get all of your journals out, get all of your Google Docs out, and just start brainstorming and going into a major hole of coming up with a completely new strategy, completely new plan. You are overturning your business every single month. And we don't want to do that. Don't want to keep restarting a million times just because you feel like it should be better. What actually is better is for you to understand true industry average metrics when it comes to memberships. And yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people also don't look into this because this can be a boring topic, but I think hear me out. Listen to this episode. I actually think this will be something. Actually, I don't even want to say I think. I know this is something that is going to completely change the way that you look at your membership, completely change the way you look at your business, completely change the way you operate your membership. And also, I know it's going to be something that is going to make you feel so confident in what you're doing inside of your membership. So you can actually make decisions from a strategic place and not just a chaotic, fearful place. So I pulled a few stats here for this episode, and I'm going to just give you a little overview of each one. Write these down. I really encourage you to understand these and know these, because these are things you're going to want to look back at anytime you do any like monthly checks or quarterly operations meetings, whether that's just with yourself right now or with a team member. It's really good to know what these stats are. So again, you can make every single decision in your business from a place of data, not just fear and emotion and feelings. So let's go through some things that aren't very commonly talked about. Most people won't tell you, but I will tell you right here, right now. So the first thing is that it is actually very normal that a very small percentage of members will be truly active inside of your community. You're going to find that around 10 to 20% are truly active, and the rest are more so going to be passive lurkers. Now, does this mean that we want to just stop trying to get members to engage in there? No, it means that we always want to be getting our members to engage. We always want to be sparking conversations. We want to try and increase this number. But if you were to look at your membership at a end of year review and you saw that, hey, we have a 25% of people engaging inside of our community every single month, and maybe throughout the year you thought that your community absolutely sucked and you almost threw it out, you almost just completely shut the doors down to your community, and then you saw you had a 25% active rate inside of your community, you're going to know, oh, this is actually normal. This is great. Communities that have a 30% and up active rate are considered phenomenal. The first year of your membership, you are going to feel like you are the all-star player inside of your membership. I talked about this, I think, on the last episode, actually. You're going to think, or you're going to feel like you are the all-star person inside of your membership. You're constantly the one in there trying to get people to engage, start the conversations. You're really the glue until your culture starts to really take off, really take over, which usually happens after the year mark, sometimes even at the 2-year mark. So as long as you know that, paired with you know the actual numbers, this is going to help you to not only feel better about your community in general, but really to be able to keep going and not feel like you have to scrap everything, scrap your strategy, because what you're doing could actually very well be working great. It's just a matter of time. And it's also just knowing the common behaviors within members inside of communities. Now, this brings me to the next one, which is all around calls. If you have a lot of people inside of your membership, or you feel like every time you do a call, there should be more people on there, again, don't stop trying to get people on calls. Again, we would love to have higher and higher rates, because that means our membership is absolutely, completely exceptional. However, the statistics when it comes to memberships is that call attendance is usually around 10 to 25% of your entire community, with more spikes happening after big launches. And then also spikes happening when you have something like a live challenge or like some kind of event happening inside of your membership. That's when you'll see spikes. But just outside of those areas, regular calls, you can expect 10 to 25% of members to be joining those calls on a regular basis. And that is considered an average rate. Again, we always want to be going above and beyond average. We don't just want to sit at average, but this is average. If you can work to get more than that, you know that your community is on the right track and you know what you're doing is working. And again, because it's so important to know this, is that just know that community doesn't just happen because people are in a group. Community happens when a culture really takes place and when people feel a part of something. So again, you are constantly trying to work to build that community, to build that culture inside of your membership. And that's when you are going to start soaring above these averages. Next one is about cancellations. This one can really sting. Doesn't matter if you've had your membership for years or if you're brand new in your membership. It can suck when people cancel, because essentially when people cancel, that feels like people are rejecting this thing that you worked so hard to build. However, cancellations are just a part of the membership game. They're going to happen. Either people will have gotten what they needed from your membership. Maybe it just wasn't a completely ideal fit, which, hello, if you are working with hundreds of people every single month, there's going to be a handful of people that aren't going to be the absolute ideal fit for it. Maybe there were some really impulse buyers in there who didn't know exactly what they were getting into. Maybe not the right fit. Okay, so first of all, it's just important to know before we get into the number here that cancellations are normal. So an industry average cancellation rate is actually around 7 to 10% monthly. So that means out of all the members that you have, you can expect on average 7 to 10% to cancel. Anything under 3% is actually considered elite. So you might be listening to this and be like, oh, I only had one cancellation this month. I completely crumbled over it. I spiraled. I almost changed the entire way that my membership was structured. I almost added all these things because this person said that they didn't like this one thing. So I almost added it. And oh my God. But then you just come to realize you have a 1% cancellation rate. That is fucking fantastic. So again, the importance of actually knowing these numbers is so important for you as a membership founder and someone actually growing and leading this business. Next is around content. If you've ever looked at what your members are up to on your back end, you can see who has opened what, when was the last time someone was in your course. You can see members' progress on the back end. And if you're thinking, oh my God, why are people not looking at my content? Why are people not watching the videos? I put so much stuff in here. Number one, we know that stuff does not necessarily equal a good membership, but that's a different episode. But two, 40% of members will never consume all of your content. That's a pretty big number. But here's the thing is when it comes to memberships, a lot of people come for maybe some of the content, get what they need, but then they stay for the community. They stay for the culture and maybe the calls or the connection. So people really consume differently. Some people are like our studious types who they sit and they do a course front to back, they take notes, and that's just like their thing. We have other people who come in, they kind of know exactly what they need. So they kind of like pick and choose what it is that they're going to take away from it. And then maybe they're just in the community. Other people, maybe they are just so through and through community people and they want to be on the calls. They want to be in the community itself. So people are going to digest your membership differently, but just know that 40% of people will not actually go through and do all of your content or even look at your content. And that's okay. It does not mean that your content is bad. The next is around retention and just why it is so important. You guys, I have done a complete episodes on retention because it's very, very important. I'll do more on retention. It's huge. I've answered a lot of retention questions in our Q&A episodes. I also did a full episode on my 4 R's of retention, which I highly recommend you go back and listen to if you haven't listened to that episode yet. But here's a crazy stat about retention and why it's so important is 70% of your membership revenue on average is actually going to come from your current members, not new launches all the time, not just constantly being on social media trying to get new people in the doors all the time. On average, 70% of your overall revenue from your membership is going to come from the members inside already. So the ones who keep their subscriptions active, they're paying you every single month, which again is why it's so important that you are number one focusing on your membership. Visibility, huge. Automation so that you don't have to always be online selling, very huge. But actually being inside of your membership and focusing on your members, making sure they have the best experience, making sure that you're listening to them, making sure that you're really working to create a culture inside of your community. That's what matters because that's where the true revenue from your membership is going to come from. Okay, we've got a couple left. This one is on sales and something that completely, when I learned these numbers, completely changed everything for me. Because again, we almost feel like if we have 100 people come into a workshop of ours, we better have 100 people signing. And if we don't have 100 people signing, we did a bad job or we dropped the ball or they hate us. And that is just simply not true. It is so not even just important, but like relieving to know these numbers when it comes to sales. So for example, the main strategy that I teach inside of $1 Million Memberships Club to sell your membership is something that already mimics a membership because then you're not really selling. You're just inviting people to keep something going with you. This is what I call an incubator event. And my main incubator event that I teach inside of $1 Million Memberships Club, it has a higher sales rate than something like selling just on social media or like selling through a series or even a masterclass. So the main strategy that we teach inside of $1 Million Memberships Club, this is something that I call an incubator live event. And the main incubator event, there's a couple that you can do, but the main incubator event that I teach has a much higher sales rate than anything else that you can do for selling a membership. So then selling on masterclass, selling on social media, selling on like a live series, it just blows all of those strategies out of the water, which is why it's my main strategy that I teach. I have a very, very important announcement. I have to tell you that registration is officially open for $1 Million Memberships Club, which is my membership specifically built for membership founders. But listen up, this is not going to take long, but listen up because the doors are closing very, very soon and we're not going to be reopening for a very long time. This membership is designed specifically for you, whether you have a membership idea that you are ready to bring to life right away, or you have a membership with members already inside and you're ready to tighten it up, implement real strategy and systems and scale it to multiple 6 and 7 figures. Maybe you are spinning your wheels in overwhelm right now, trying to figure out what is the next best step to starting your membership community, or have members, but your membership community feels chaotic, whether you don't have your automations in place or things just feel really taped together, or you don't really have a strategy to keep your community really sticky and retained and engaged. Maybe you're really not confident in your onboarding. And every time new members come in, you have this little feeling of just, I really hope they like it. And you just don't feel 100% confident. Wherever you're coming in at, $1 Million Memberships Club is the membership to join if your vision is building an insanely sticky community that consistently grows, has unbreakable systems, and is just built to truly scale. Inside, you'll get monthly live calls with myself and other members of our community for personalized support. You'll get full membership setup guides so you don't miss a single important step in setting up your membership and scaling it. You'll have a template vault full of plug and play resources to get your membership set up the right way in less time. Plus, you'll be surrounded by other membership founders who are on the same journey, which honestly, I just feel like is priceless. It's so nice having a community, having something on your phone that you can just open up, check in with people. Maybe you're revamping something in your membership, just to be able to open up your phone, go to a community of just membership founders and talk to other people, connect to other people who are on the same path as you. to open up the app and look that we have a meetup coming up and be able to hop on a call and actually get in real time live support for your membership and really be able to know your direction every single month. After you hop on a call, you get that personalized support and you know exactly what you need to focus on for that month until it's time for our next call. It's just, honestly, it's the best. I can't speak highly enough about this community. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but it's amazing. But here's the thing. Doors are only open until December 17th. After that, we are closing the doors until spring 2026. No exceptions. So if you are listening to this in real time and you don't want to miss your window, you don't want to wait another quarter of an entire year sitting on your membership or not feeling confident on your membership or sitting on your vision. If you want to truly bring this to life, start 2026 with a plan in place, with the support in place, then pause this episode right now, head to the first link in the show notes and join the membership before doors close. Again, we are closing after December 17th and not reopening until spring. Don't wait on this. Don't keep sitting on your vision. If this has been on your heart, if this has been something that you know that you need to get support with and that you know you want to truly focus on for the new year, you want to focus on your membership community, it's something that keeps coming up, keeps nagging at you, something that you just keep coming back to over and over again, then this is your chance. Pause this episode, head to the show notes, click the very first link that you see, and go grab your membership today. Okay, let's get into the episode. Now, when you know your sales numbers and you also have a strategy to actually sell, this is where magic happens. So if you get 100 people, say, into a live event that you're hosting to sell your membership, 10 people join, and then you go and sit in your bed for a week and you absolutely spiral, that is the old you, because the old you didn't actually understand sales conversion numbers. So a really good benchmark for sales when it comes to, say, you're doing an incubator event like that we teach in MDMC to sell into your membership, a strong conversion rate would be 3 to 8%. So that 3 to 8%, that means that if you have 100 people inside of your event and you sell 3 spots, that's like just at the very bare minimum good. If you sell 8, that's great. So it's important to know that as you're doing these sales events and launching with your membership, it's actually more of a numbers game than anything. And if you understand that, then that really allows you to do the work needed, the visibility work needed to get more people, funnel more people into whatever this sales event is that you're having. When you actually know numbers, you know where your priorities need to be, right? If you get 10 people into your sales event and you don't understand the numbers and you just work so hard on this event and you're putting everything into it and you're so excited for it and then it doesn't convert and you spiral, you probably think that you did something wrong or that your event sucked or whatever it might be, but truly it could just be a numbers thing. So it's really important to know these numbers. Now, if you have a sales rate that's more in the 10 to 20%, which actually with the main incubator event that I teach inside of $1 Million Memberships Club, this is usually where our people land, is in this 10 to 20% conversion rate area. That is considered elite. So if you're expecting a 40% conversion rate every single time that you hold something, or a 90% conversion rate every time you go to sell something, that's just unrealistic. This is actually going to be what helps you consistently sell your membership, because you'll need to know where your focus needs to be. And the next one is the first 30 days of your new members' engagement habits predict the 9-month retention mark for that new member. So what does that mean? It means that members who engage and show up in your community in the first 30 days are 3 times more likely to stay long-term inside of your membership. This is why your onboarding sequencing, your onboarding emails, and your onboarding first win pathway, which is basically what you're getting your members to do once they get into your community. That's why those things are so important. And this is why you probably see me talk a lot about onboarding, and I share a lot of just like client screenshots on my social media of people loving our onboarding templates and like how big those are for our members. And it's truly because we put so much effort and time into the onboarding experience, because that truly will set your people up for how they feel about your membership long-term. And we know that 70% of our revenue comes from our long-term and reoccurring customers. So we want to keep them. We want to keep them happy, and we want them to have a really great first experience so that they do stay long-term with our community. Now, with all of that being said, all of these stats that we went through, these are just considered statistics and averages over the industry. These are normal. However, that doesn't just mean that you should hope for the best with all of these and like hope that you land in that normal range. And also, we want to be exceeding normal. We don't want to just be normal. We want to be absolutely exceptional. The difference between memberships that really grow and the ones that stall are actually understanding the statistics and the numbers and the KPIs behind every single metric, every single part of your membership. Most founders don't fail because their membership is bad. They fail because they don't know if they're doing things right. And especially in those first couple of years when you're establishing, if you aren't 100% confident in what you're doing, you can't trust the process because you don't even know the process. And so you are so much more likely to just dip out, try things in a new way, come up with another strategy, completely revamp your entire membership, and just completely ruin anything that you might have actually been able to grow because you keep restarting things and because you keep changing things. When engagement drops, you just assume that no one likes your membership. Or when people aren't showing up to calls, that you don't know the actual numbers behind that, and you don't know that maybe it's just a numbers game. Maybe you don't have that many people inside of your membership yet for those calls to actually be full in accordance with what you can expect from a membership. So what's really, really important as a membership founder is knowing these numbers, knowing how to improve these numbers, knowing how to read the numbers, and just knowing the process, knowing how to trust the process because you know the strategy behind these. So if you want a membership that is actually going to be growing month after month, and you have really healthy membership engagement metrics where you know that if you keep this going for the next year, you are going to double, triple, you know that you're on the right path instead of feeling confused by your numbers or feeling unsure if you're doing things right or constantly just worrying that your membership is failing. And I know you are absolutely going to love $1 Million Memberships Club. $1 Million Memberships Club truly just gives you everything that you need, the strategy, the support, the systems to build a community like that, to build a community that is growing and that it just becomes stickier and stickier and people are engaging more and more and your numbers are growing. We don't want a membership that is just stagnant or one that you have no idea if it's working or not. Everything inside of $1 Million Memberships Club is backed by these things. We know memberships inside and out. And so by following our processes and trusting our processes, you can kind of like borrow our confidence for a little bit until you start to actually see it working inside of your membership. And I think that that is something that is hands down completely priceless. Is again, if you don't feel 100% confident in what you're doing, when you don't see immediate results, you are more likely to get in your head and second guess everything. Whereas if you're inside of $1 Million Memberships Club and you're following our processes that are already built and proven and have been proven to work and follow, then even if you are in that like year slower growth mode before you really come through to that breakthrough, you can trust the process and just know that you're doing things the right way. So I really encourage you, if you own a membership, if you are running an online membership right now, that you come join us inside of $1 Million Memberships Club. This membership is just full of other membership founders. You have the support in our community. You have all of our systems, templates, plug and play templates, which just take so much stress and time away from you having to do these things on your own. We literally just had a member post in the community and she said, "Can I say freaking thank you for the onboarding email templates? It is saving me so much time. I was putting it off for so long. I just didn't have the headspace to actually write out all of the emails. So being able to just edit the templates is literally saving my sanity right now." And that is just one of our templates. We have a loaded template vault for you that everything is just meant to take this extra time off of your plate so you can actually spend time on your visibility and nurturing your members and doing the things that are actually going to grow your membership rather than wasting all of your time trying to come up with email sequences and funnels and all of the things. Because yes, those are important, but they take a lot of time and we've already done the work. So I'm going to give it to you so that you don't have to do it. So if we are open, come join us right away. It is the first link in the show notes. You can get started right away with our templates, resources, everything. Dive into our community, come say hi, and get started on really making sure your membership is built the right way today. And if we are not open right now, then make sure you get on the wait list so that you are notified when we open the doors again. That is it for today's episode. I hope you loved it. That is it for this episode. I hope you loved it. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.